and there are also a lot of parties waiting to be registered by INEC. And people say maybe the political parties, these opposition parties specifically, are not able to interact in our democracy. And we have a veteran who will join us tonight to help make sense of this discussion about opposition parties and their role in advocating and advancing a better Nigeria. Tonight, joining us in Abuja studios is Mr. Eke, who is joining us in Abuja. A very good evening to you, fellow Eke.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I see fellow. What's the meaning of the fellow?
Oh, that's a fellow Nigerian Institute of Public Relations.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you. And Eke is a former presidential candidate of the Green Party of Nigeria, a former national chairman of the Green Party, a former IPAC secretary. So it's really done a lot in the political space, helping move the conversation. So you're very familiar with the conversation. I'd like to start with the question. Do we have enough political parties in Nigeria? Or do you think we need to reduce the number of political parties? Because people are saying, yes, we have 19 now after the deregistration by INEC. But there are conversations around the fact that so many political parties were not even able to present candidates in the 2023 general elections.
I think that is not the fact. The fact remains that we are just expecting too much from the political party, if I may say, because in the actual sense of it, 19 political party, 20, 30 is not too much for Nigeria. This is a population of, you want to put it conservatively, not less than 250 million Nigerians. And other countries, they have more political parties than us. The fact just remains that if we want political parties to really sustain, they have to be allowed to live and die naturally. Nobody will tell you if what you are doing repeatedly is not yielding fruit for you to change. Do you understand me? So a situation whereby INEC sees it as a big deal to register and deregister political party, it has never gone well for us. And I think the political parties are doing their bit to make sure that they put their house together and provide candidate for the citizens. All
right, so some Nigerians will ask, for somebody who's contesting an election on the platform of some political parties that people say may not have enough structures, and you're contesting for a presidential election, is there even a possibility that you are likely to win that election?
Well, in Nigeria's setting, P2B have changed the narrative to say that political structures are only what you need to win election. The major thing you need.
But the Peter Obi win elections, those are conditions Nigerians will ask.
Well, if you want to say that he didn't win election, the results are there to show. But the fact
the results show he had 6 million votes. The results at the last count, at least the one I know, INEC announced that Peter Obi didn't win the elections.
Why is it that the mention of Peter Obi's name is still giving people sleepless night? That is the question you will ask.
Are people saying they're having sleepless nights when his name is mentioned?
Exactly, because you cannot imagine a situation whereby it has never happened before. The sitting government now, or the government in power, so to say, they couldn't win FCT. They couldn't even win Lagos. P2B has come to stay. He is a movement, and he's
no, but let's leave the person of His Excellency, former governor of Anambra, Peter Obi, and stay on the subject. For people like you, a former presidential candidate or Green Party of Nigeria, when you were contesting election on the platform of the Green Party, were you expecting to win election?
Why not if not? And in that election, I did my best. Going by, that is the only election you can see. You can say that there was a platform provided for Nigerians to really examine the presidential candidate adequately, and I came tops in the campaign. It is still something that Nigerians have to think back and look back and say, okay, are we really going for the best, or we are voting for ethnicity, we are voting for sentiment, are we really voting for those that will deliver us? If that is the case, what happened in 2023? And I may ask anybody that cares to listen, do you really think that Nigerians are enjoying now, or they are complaining? Dividends of democracy, is it there for them to reap?
Those are questions you will answer, because as a political party leader, there are many indices, because the government will bring Nigeria, our revenues have increased, right? We have taxes now doing 67%, 65%, and all of that. And the president is talking about building a 1 trillion naira economy. That's something to be happy about. So there are indices people from government, I'm not speaking for them, they have their spokesperson to do their business, could also argue with you. But let's stay on the concept of political parties in Nigeria. We saw in 1993, we tested the political parties with SDP at the time, Abiola, Babangana, and the rest of them. We came to 1999 when we had the PDP and the other parties come into our political system. Will you say that in the last 26 years, 27 years, that we've practiced uninterrupted democracy, that the political parties in Nigeria have been able to influence our political system for good?
Exactly, they have been doing that. You see, you cannot get it right if the election management body is not doing what they are supposed to do.
That's INEC?
Yes. People are seriously complaining about INEC.
Is it parties that are not winning elections that are complaining, or people are complaining? No, because the parties that are winning elections are saying INEC is doing well.
Well, if you say so, how can you justify a situation whereby a man declared an election and at the end of the day, the result of an election, somebody is busy enjoying the outcome of that election and the man was sentenced or was put behind bar, was jailed for making the wrong decisions, and the person who he declared to have won that particular election is still enjoying that office. So where is the place of INEC? Let us not go there. The fact is that this is our country. We have to bring, every hand has to be on deck to make it work. But to make it work, we have to be sincere with ourselves. That insincerity of purpose is what is really dragging us back. Do we want a Nigeria where the project Nigeria will work? Or we want a Nigeria where it will be based on religious sentiments, where it will be based on state of origin, where state of residence will not take precedent over state of origin? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. We are not yet sincere yet. We do not want this country to work. Because if you want the country to work, the law should be the same for you, for me, and for any other person, irrespective of his religion, irrespective of his state of origin, irrespective of his ethnicity.
So are there questions about political parties lacking ideology? As somebody who's been involved in that system for quite a while, does your political party have ideology? And if it has, what are the ideologies? If there are many, or what is the ideology of your political party?
Green Party on its own does not need an explanation. It doesn't need an explanation. It's an environmental party. It's a party that is friendly, environmental friendly, a party that is always there to seek alternative ways of doing things, protecting the environment, and at the same time making sure that human rights are not abused. But the fact remains that Green Party does not believe that a nation like Nigeria can just rely solely on the sale of crude or petrol for its source of income. There should be alternative to that. And for goodness sake, you know, there is a problem, fundamental problem in this country. That is to say that a lot of Nigerians, even the educated ones, do not have political education. And political education is very, very important in the sense that once you do not have it, you cannot be able to make right decisions. And that is the major decision that affects every aspect, every sector of the economy. So that's where we find ourselves.
All right, so
that party had ideology.
So that's the ideology of the party environment. So it doesn't matter the character of the person who's coming to the party, or once the person has some flair for environment is good. Is that what you're saying?
You are saying that because you are not a party leader. Because for you to emerge as a candidate, there are a credible process for you to be nominated.
But there are questions about people who get into parties, and at the next sitting, I know of, and now APC has about 70 senators. They came in with about 50 something or 60 around that number, but a lot of people have decamped. So there are questions about the character of politicians who join political parties, and I see political parties as vehicle to win election. I like that you talk to that.
No, the fact still remains, like I will always say, that the leaders, once you have a government in power or an administration in power that does not want to make sure that the laws are followed, because already we have provision that you do not just wake up and discard the vehicle or the party that brought you into power, jump to other parties, but they are encouraging it. Because we have
who is encouraging it?
You just mentioned that a particular political party had lesser.
But you can also mention the name of
No, I don't do that because of my level of understanding, my participation, and also my professionalism. I do not do that. I try as much as possible to discuss issues, not human beings.
No, but it's a political party. You could mention the name. Maybe it's
a political party is an official person. Don't you know that? Okay. He can sue and be sued.
Okay. Thank you so much. But still talk about that. Because complete the thoughts about people moving from one political party to another political party after winning election. And it seems as if the political party that gave them the tickets to run have been betrayed. Doesn't it look that way?
That is what it means. They have been betrayed. But in fact, like I said earlier, the laws are there. You can't just wake up and move. For you to move from one party to the other, there has to be enough evidence that that political party has internal issues that cannot be reconciled. It is not a question that maybe if you are in party A and you decide to move to party B so that your sins will be forgiven, nobody will chase you around politically and all that because you have embezzled one fund or the other, and nobody will allow you. The former sitting senator said that move from this party to another party, your sins will be forgiven. Is that what we are here for? That is not what we should be doing as a nation. The day Nigeria wake up to say that we want to get it right, we'll get it right.
All right, so I'm still talking about the day Nigeria wake up. I've seen your interaction with IPAC, and there's this talk about in 2019 that after election results were being declared, IPAC came to and people protested about that result, and IPAC came and said the result is okay. So there are even talks about political parties who will just
very well. You say 2019?
2023.
That's what you said. Because I was not there 2023.
So you also talk about the fact that political parties, some people just say we've collapsed our structures. Is that something that you've experienced? Have you experienced overtures to also collapse your structure at one point in time?
I have not done that, and that's why I didn't move from one party to the other. You see, a lot of people get into politics for different reasons. I was involved, and I'm still involved in politics because I want to serve the people, not as a result of a means to live in whole. Do you understand? So when people don't know their real objective or what the real objective of serving the people should be, they will just jump into politics. Not everybody. Political leadership is not meant for everybody, because you must have that spirit to serve, to sacrifice, to give up your own time. And you know, time is the greatest thing you can give to any other person or even any institution or to your country. So having said that, I did not move. But also I will tell you that coalition, coming together of different political parties to achieve a purpose, is not out of place. It all depends on the motive behind it. If it's because you want to collect some gratification and you are doing that, it's not worth it. That means already you are after your stomach infrastructure. Apologies to the former governor of Ekiti State. So, that having said that, I want to believe that it's allowable for political parties to sit down, discuss, okay, this government in power, we want to confront them, we want to face them in a united front, not in a strong.
All right, so we saw something happen in 2015, 2014, the formation of the All Progressive Congress as we have it today. And just a few months ago, we also saw a formation of an opposition movement called the ADC. And is it something you are considering moving? And do you see the ADC coming out to challenge the APC in the forthcoming elections?
First and foremost, I really have to remind you that for a nation like Nigeria that has a large population, you cannot collapse into one party system. That is one. You can't have just one dominant party. For the polity to be something to write home about, you should be able to have two dominant parties, like in America, where we copied our presidential system of government, though we copied it halfway, we didn't complete it completely. So having said that, there is need for you to have a political party that will give the party in power a good run for their money, their time, so that their policies can always be scrutinized. They just wake up, throw anything to the people. They will just be on guard to make sure there is an opposition party waiting in the wing to take over from them. And if that is the case, it's always making them to be under check. So it's a good one.
All right, so I asked a question. Are you moving to the ADC? Is that something you are considering? You said it's a good one, but I want you to be more specific with us. Are you moving to the ADC?
Well, political declarations are not done on shows like
on national television.
On national television.
And we are giving you a free platform to actually do it without payment. But I understand what you're trying to say. Okay, you wanted to complete the thoughts?
Yeah, so like I have said, it's a good one, it's a good movement. So the APC, it's a wake-up call to them to serve Nigeria better.
All right, so the place of the opposition party, it seems there's been a lot of decamping to the APC in recent times. We've even seen governors, like the governor of Akwa Ibom, move to, and there are talks about the Rivers State governor maybe moving. There are talks about Bayelsa State governor, and we've seen Delta State governor also move to the APC. Are you worried?
I beg your pardon, I said the last time I checked, who is the Rivers State governor?
A Rivers State governor. Rivers has a governor. You know his name. Rivers has a governor. Yes. Similar Fubara. It's in the public domain. He's a Rivers State governor.
So who is in charge now?
Those are questions that you could answer. But let's stay on the topic now. Moving into the APC, are you bothered that we have opposition parties, we have party leaders gradually moving into the ruling party? Does it have to do with the Nigerian political system? Is it if the PDP was in power, people move to the PDP? When the APC is in power, people move to the APC? If your party gets to be in power tomorrow, maybe a lot of people will also be moving to your party. Are you bothered about this trajectory in our politics?
Yes. To a large extent, I am, because politicians should live by their core values. For me, there are some political parties I can't move into, and there are some. Please
mention them. I'd like to know. I'd like to know. No, you say there are political parties you won't move into. I'd like to know which political parties.
No. We don't do that. We don't do that.
But you have political parties you won't move into.
It will be demarketing the political parties, and I don't do that. I'm a very clean man. Sorry to say that. So there are some political parties or some people I cannot feel free to be with because of the antecedent. So it is an individual thing. Okay. But I still want to tell you that it's not a good thing for people to jump from one party to the other. People should be known for their core values. People should be known for the principles they stand for. Permit me to mention the late Seg, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. I happen to be one of his students too. He stood and was noted to be a very good opposition leader. Provided alternative ideas, perspective to doing things without taking to arms, and at the same time stood for many years without joining the winning party. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong joining the winning party, but it shouldn't be a bandwagon effect to the extent that a politician cannot be seen by the value he represents. If I mention Peter Obi now, you say do not mention it. But we cannot run away from a good that is good to be sold. Do you understand me? For example, there are things that other political parties are doing. You look left and right, or even search him, you cannot see it with him. So it is easy for people to move from one political party to the other. But the Nigerian people going to vote, are they comfortable with that?
Even the Peter Obi you mentioned, you know how many times he's moved. The Peter Obi you mentioned moved from ABGA to the PDP.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and he has moved from the PDP to the Labour Party. So he's also been moving around. He's also part of the Nigerian politicians that keep moving from one party to the other.
Can you listen? When you made mention that Peter Obi moved from one party to the other, by the time he moved to Labour, were they in power at the federal government and there was an enticement that drew him to Labour? The answer is no. Peter Obi and some other good politicians, which I may not, for once of time, I may not go into mentioning now, serving Nigeria is even in the best interest of Nigeria.
But that's what every politician say. Thank you. We're going to go on a break and when we'll come back. There's no politician that will say I'm serving Nigeria for my own benefits. It's all for the fatherland. And it's the people that have the questions to ask. Thank you so much, fellow Sam McKay. I'll still stay on the program. Let's go for a short break. And when we're back, Big Talk continues. Tonight, we are looking at opposition politics and the role the opposition plays in advocating for a better Nigeria. Let's go for this break. welcome once again to Big Talk. This is a program where we highlight political issues in Nigeria and bring expert opinion about making the country forward. Moving Nigeria to where we want the country to be, where you will be happy that the country has actually gotten to that place. Tonight, joining us to look at the role of the opposition parties in advocating for a better Nigeria is a fellow Sam Eke, who is a former national chairman and also a former presidential candidate of the Green Party of Nigeria. He's also a former secretary of IPAC, and you've actually wore a lot of hats in your activism, and you keep going. Tonight we're actually looking at opposition, how opposition can drive, government, drive policies. There are talks about having maybe a shadow government to offer suggestions to the ruling party. Do you think the opposition in Nigeria, as we have it today, are interfacing, offering alternative, the way they should offer to the ruling political party?
You see, it is the man that has a thorn on his leg that leads to the man with a needle for a help. The ruling party have not asked for it, and the opposition have been doing their best. Even when an attempt was made to form a shadow government, they kicked against it. You know about that. So, having said that, you cannot force the horse to the stream and also force the horse to drink water.
But we hear that our president is a very accessible. In fact, a proponent of this government will tell you that the president is running a government of national unity. Minister Nyesom Wike is not a member of the APC, but he's serving in an APC government.
That does not make it a government of national unity, giving people individual appointment. Let us not go there, because if we go there, we now see that his own appointment is lopsided more than that of the former president, his immediate predecessor. Do you understand me? So,
no, there are records of recent. I looked at the records. There are facts to that. The presidency brought that about 53 of these percentages are from this side, and this of these percentages are from the south. When people talked about that, maybe more people from the south have gotten appointments, and there were records to show those are problems for the government. But let me ask: do you think that the opposition have position themselves well to offer alternative? Because like the issue of subsidy, all of those that were at least the front runners in the 2023 all advocated to removing subsidy.
It's a good question you have just posed, but the fact is that, assuming you are aware you happen to be the president, would you on the first day of office, you have not assumed office, you don't even know the file that is on your table, you announce the removal of subsidy? Have you seen a child that survived when the make of his mother or her mother is taken away from him or her without due provisions? That child will hardly survive. We should also come back to the issue that this subsidy we are talking about, let us not just be saying it as if we are not living in a world where others are living. How much does it cost to produce a liter of fuel? Nobody has answered that question. So how can you tell a man that you are subsidizing his food or the product he's buying and he does not know the actual cost of production of that? Let the people be told the truth. This is a country whereby majority of people, irrespective of the fact whether you are from the north, southeast, southwest, south, northeast, north central, northwest, by the time you go to the market, you will see the hardship all over written. So let us forget about
prices of goods are reducing. Price of rice now.
Well, if you are
from the statistics of the government, I have to balance the conversation.
When you are balancing the conversation,
I have to balance the conversation because the government have shown us data, and it is, you can confirm that in the market. We did a report the other time. Yes, my colleague did a report, a market survey, and we saw that between 6 months, in 6 months time, there have been reduction. I think 20,000 in places like rice, I'm sure, and tomatoes, and in some other goods. And the government are putting these facts out.
The fact they are putting, you should ask themselves, the APC government, where were these things before they took over governance?
But there are also facts about the world economy.
No. Where were these things before they took over governance? And how much was dollar when they took over? It is the same president that is in power now that led the strike against Goodluck government for what? For what increase? So let us forget about this. We just tell ourselves we are not facing the facts. If we continue this way, if we continue this way, Nigeria will not be able to come out of our woes. It is not a question that, okay, the food prices have dropped. Maybe you just go and import food overnight, flood the market and every other thing. How can you genuinely prove to somebody who is reasoning well there is production of food when the farmers cannot go to farm?
Okay, but the president will argue that
farmers go to farm.
The president will argue. The president will argue that the minimum wage has been increased. People that were getting 30,000 naira are now getting 77,000. I'm using the core members as an example.
And there I get to you. There I get to you. Maybe you don't know my feed too. You cannot tell me you are giving me 77 or 75,000 or
that's
something.
What I'm
hold on
for
now
them,
as a core member, and I cannot buy what I was buying with 25,000. What is the essence of?
What are the things they were buying for 25,000 they can't buy again?
You can't buy. You can't buy them now.
Like
it
what?
Is the power, the purchasing power that matters.
Like
not the volume of money you are carrying around. 3-4 years ago, do you want to tell me that 50,000 naira 3-4 years ago, or 40,000 naira 3-4 years ago is not bigger than 70,000 naira today? It is.
But 3-4 years ago, people were still complaining.
People were complaining. Those complained, they were complaining. Now you are free to do what we call comparative analysis. Bring what was obtainable then and bring it and put it side by side and say, okay, here, this was this, and here, this. At every point in time, you can always scale any government performance based on dollar that's relatively stable. Even 25 years ago, and to say whether the government was doing better than this or not. So that is
no, even looking at the dollar, before we move from that conversation, right, because I also want to also bring the government side so that people could hear. Even the dollar conversation, the government also has made remarks about the fact that our dollar was artificial because we're using a lot of monies, to actually, have that artificial value as what it was. So they decided to come in and run a free market economy and liberalize the market and allow the forces to act on it. That's what the government said concerning the dollar increment, and to them that in no time we have to go through this, bear a little, and in no time things will get better. And
that is where I like the word you have just used. Endure a little, is that not?
That's what the government said.
That's what the government said, and you are amplifying it.
No, I have to tell you. I have to tell you. So we balance the conversation.
Can I be allowed to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, if that is the position, you are a government in power. You are executive in power. You want the citizens that is already overburdened to bear more burden. But you are not replicating or showing that in your own way of expenses. For goodness sake, there are a lot of things we have gone into since this government came into power that is in the public domain. Ordinarily, if you're a government that wants your people to feel happy and satisfied as good citizens, you shouldn't have gone into it, because you should place what we call order of preference and be able to take them one after the other. Right. So haven't done that, you cannot come back and say the people should endure. How many of the senators, the House of Rep members, the governors, the president, the vice, and all government functionaries, how many of them are enduring what the common man on the street is enduring? All right, so
that's a nice question that you are asking. That's the question that you are asking now. But there are conversations about the fact that governors are now getting more money. Today, I just saw statistics of governors in the South, how much they are being paid. So people have talked about it. Governors are getting more money. And are we really holding our politicians at that level? Governors, at those who are chairmen of different local governments, those who are ward chairman? Are we holding them accountable? Is it just people focus so much on the presidency and we forget that the president needs to work with these people? What is the level of accountability as an opposition party leader at those other different levels, subnational level in our country?
Okay. You know, you are posing this question because maybe you have not been following my antecedent. I am one of those who feel that there are a lot of corruption at the national level, but there are more at the state level. That is my position. Any other person is free to think the way he wants. It's a free world. And also, I'm one of those who feel that we are not yet ready to get it right in this country. Otherwise, if a local government chairman is elected, he should be given the fund that is meant for him to run and account to his people. I am one of those who believe that that should be the position. But if the governors continue behaving the way they are behaving, I have a local government, other people have their own local government, the money comes in maybe for one particular local government around 500 million. Okay, let's just say, conservatively put, 300 million. At the end of the day, you give an elected executive, elected local government chairman 30 million. By the time he pays salary and everything, you say he should come and submit to you the project he has to do. You approve and do this thing. And at the end of the day, the credit comes to you. No. You see, I keep on saying it. I do not know when we'll be ready to get it right. In United States of America, where we copy this presidential system in government, this is not how it's being run. The mayor will be allowed, giving his own autonomy. Even at that local government level, a lot of Nigerians don't even know that there are legislators there who still make bylaws for them. The local government should prepare his budget, submit to them for approval, and not to the state house of assembly, and not to the governor. And the local government chairman shouldn't be errand boys. But because people want to get into public offices by force, by any means, by hook and crook, they are ready to take any condition you give to them, and it's not for somebody like me. For example, there are appointments or there are things you ask me to come and do to them, and I will tell you I'm not going to do it. It's just based on principle. So the fact is that must you be a local government chairman? Must you be? Must you be a governor for you to be complete human being? Must you be president? Must you be anything in this world? The question is no. So if you know you cannot deliver, you cannot represent the people, and you cannot stand for them, you cannot stand praying for them, why are you going in?
All right. So there are also conversations around the fact that maybe the people are not, maybe the leadership is a reflection of the people. Maybe the people are not asking the right questions, because we keep seeing the same people, the people. They'll go out to vote the persons who are into elective offices. At least all of the governors were voted by Nigerians. The president was voted by Nigerians. So let's talk about the people. Because it's a majority rule.
You say my younger brother, so to say, let me tell you one fact you must take home. You cannot expect the people to hold their leaders responsible when the weapon of poverty is being meted on them. These people are so poor. When you go to the local villages, you will see the level people are operating. And you do not think about individuals. For democracy to work, the institutions, the democratic institutions must be strengthened. It's not about the individual or individuals. No. For example, in America, there is a standard that American president cannot fall to. You can't wake up one day and order one governor to be removed. You dare not do that. Even a local government chairman, you dare not do that. But here, governors are removing local government chairmen. So let us stop pretending. If we don't want the presidential system of government, we can develop our own, name it our own, and start running it. But if we must run the presidential system of government, we must follow it in total. One of my former lecturers will tell me, or he told us, if you want to copy very well and acknowledge the person, the authority you are copying from. That's just what he said.
All right. So the next question, as a former party leader and as somebody who's also very much into party politics, I like to ask, for your party, who may not really have that national renown and all of that, how do you get funding? Because a lot of political parties talk about funding as an issue. How do you get funding, and how do you...
how were we getting funding?
How were you getting funding? I mean, how are you getting funding to be able to go about and, go about your business?
Yeah, the fact remains that ordinarily what the party leaders do is out of their own benevolence, they try to make sure that they fund the political party. And at the same time, some good, well-meaning party members support the party. Because you see, a man who have not eaten 3 square meals, it is very difficult requesting party funding from such person, paying dues and things like that. And the government, they are aware of this, and they use it as a weapon to make sure that the people don't think well, they don't think straight. I wish that one day...
Those are heavy allegations.
Well, I have not said a particular government. It could be successive government, but the fact is that you must be in position of authority for you to be able to appropriate funds.
All right, so there's this narrative about elite capture of political parties. I like that you talk about that, because even in your political parties, it seems that those that have money, when immediately they come into political parties like the money bags, they are given tickets to run for offices. You like to talk to me how you used to do it at the time, or do you think that the elites have actually captured our political system as we wind down?
It's not really elite capturing it. For any political party to really function properly, you must have a party that has what we call party supremacy. But a situation whereby the president will just send a phone call to the party chairman, just summon him as if he's talking to an errand boy, you can't function. You have seen a situation where sitting presidents summon national party chairman and remove them. But in those days, the former national chairman of MPN will send a message across to Shehu Shagari, and Shehu Shagari will go and sing him. Do you understand me? So we must get to that level again, whereby party supremacy will come back to place. And if it doesn't come back to place, we are not getting it right. We are still where we are.
All right. Thank you so much, fellow Sam AK, for coming on our show tonight. And I do believe that with your advocacy and the work you do, are you quitting politics very soon? I think I should ask that.
Well, I do not see myself quitting politics because
our former president, we saw him tour his ID cards. I don't want to mention his name. I taking a and he said now he belongs to everybody.
No, it's not quitting politics is not the answer, because even at local level, all the while that I have not been involved at the national level, I've been in my little community, in my village, making sure that I contribute one way or the other to make sure that it will be a better place for all.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. But before I go, I'd like to take some perspective of some stories that we actually were tracking for you tonight. Okay, so the first story says Ghana workers protest and demand cancellation of Africa's mounting debt. So hundreds of workers are today poured onto the streets of Accra, Ghana's capital, calling for the cancellation of Africa's ballooning debt. Another story. Lagos APC rules out Jonathan's 2027 challenge, says Tinubu unbeatable. So the Lagos State chapter of the All Progressive Congress says it has observed with keen interest the growing speculation surrounding the possible return of former President Goodluck Jonathan to the 2027 presidential race. And according to them, Tinubu, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is untouchable. The last story for tonight: no ticket seeded for 2026 local government election. Edo APC chairman. So the Edo State chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Jarrett Tenebe, has said that the party has not seeded ticket to anyone for next year's local government chairmanship election. Those were some of the stories we're able to bring for you tonight. All right now. So tonight on the show, we had joining us to make sense of our discussion, fellow Sam AK, who is the former national chairman and former presidential candidate of the Green Party of Nigeria, a former secretary general of IPAC and former national secretary of IPAC. I remember when I used to see those press releases as the national secretary of IPAC. Thank you so much. As we discussed about opposition politics and advocating for a better Nigeria, we wish you all of the best, and we wish your interaction, and we hope Nigeria becomes a place where we'll all be very happy. I'm proud of the country, and I know you're also proud of Nigeria.
Exactly.
All right, so that's the package for you tonight. My name is Ubong Soro in Abuja, and I'm saying bye for now.